Hello everyone, we are talking to you bilingually, so we'll be in English and Spanish here at the Hackathon Aleph, A-L-E-P-H. We are located in Cuenca, Ecuador, but the hackathon is based out of Buenos Aires, Argentina, and 10 other countries. So we're a satellite remote part of the hackathon. There's about 15 or 20 of us here today, and we're in groups of 1 to 4. So we've got 4 women in the group. There's 3 of us here now to discuss. I wanted to introduce some of my colleagues. We're all hacktivists. We're all hackers here, lady hackers, as part of this conversation, and we'll speak in both English and Spanish to you. We have built something called the AC scanner, AC meaning amor or control. So is it love or is it control? We're talking about violence in intimate relationships and intimate partner violence. Here in the conservative Catholic city of Cuenca, Ecuador, these are professors from the University of Cuenca and systems engineers here, and I'm a developer as well. So we're at the hackathon, and we're talking about leading a cultural change. We are initiating a conversation around intimate partner violence and educating young men and women and future generations to respect each other. So we are leading a cultural change, and we're doing that by creating an app and a data science project that takes conversations between partners and calculates the risk threat of various phrases and conversations for partner violence. So if someone is being gaslit or talked down to or devalued or threatened or intimidated, for example, somebody says, "Oh, I'm going to share your naked photos to get you to manipulate you to do something," there are things here that are normalized in the culture of Cuenca, Ecuador, and South America and Latin America, machismo, things like this, that we want to change. The misogyny that we want to change. So we're here with self-proclaimed feminists and hacktivists, and we are working on that. So we want to just introduce ourselves and pitch you our little project here from the hackathon. So I guess I'll start with you. This is a systems engineer. You've got a master's degree in systems engineering from University of Cuenca?
No, I am only a system engineer.
She's a systems engineer. And I don't know how you want to introduce yourself, but
well, you tell all. I am a hacktivist, feminist.
Feminist.
Also, privacy rights.
Privacy rights activist.
Yeah.
Dealing with blockchain and technology like this on the blockchain.
And lead some woman communities in Latam and here in Ecuador to encourage more women in our field. We need more.
Yeah, women in STEM. We always got to work together.
Yeah.
So, we're here with our colleagues today, and okay.
My name is Eva. I am a clinical psychologist. I have a master's degree on psychotherapy and a PhD on mental health. I've been researching about gender violence since the COVID 2020.
So 6 años, 6 years.
Sí, justamente ahí es cuando hubo un despunte de lo que es la violencia intrafamiliar, el divorcio, la violencia de género, la violencia física dentro del hogar por el encierro, y ahí es cuando comenzamos con mis compañeros de la universidad esta aventura de obtener datos acerca de la violencia de género. Sí, en nuestra ciudad. Pero claro, conforme ha ido avanzando los años y también nuestro perfil profesional, ya no queremos solo datos, queremos
cambiar la cultura.
Exacto, una investigación, acción y compromiso con la comunidad para cambiar las cosas, no solamente publicar artículos científicos, sino hacer algo para cambiar nuestra realidad.
More action.
Yes, we want to change the reality, and for those of you who don't speak Spanish, she is a clinical psychologist, master's degree in psychology. She's been studying interfamilial violence, intimate partner violence, divorce, things like this. And we are here in Cuenca, Ecuador, and she's talking about, we don't want to just publish scientific research papers. We also want to take real action to change our reality. And so we have these, hacktivists and feminists here who are leading some cultural change here out of Cuenca, Ecuador. And we're at the weekend hackathon all day, Saturday, Sunday. This is Saturday night. And we would like to introduce to you some of our projects. This is the podcast Hablemos Serio, meaning we speak seriously on this podcast. These are serious topics, so they're heavy. And we've just met today, so we're not like formally dressed or anything. This is us coming together in real time to discuss these sorts of issues. So on our team, the hackathon, so just some logistics on the hackathon, there can be up to 4 people on a team, and there are 4 women. There's only 3 of us pictured here, obviously, but we do have 4 girls on the team, and the other lady, what's her background? She is a sociologist of some type?
Yes, well, the sociologist was at first in the morning.
Yeah.
And then Majo, she is biochemical engineer, I think,
Okay.
and also a cultural. Ella se dedica al arte, a la cultura, gestión cultural.
Yeah, she's good at leadership in a lot of things. She kept us all fed today as well, which is really nice. So basically we've got Ladies Leading Change in Cuenca, which is a pretty progressive thing for a conservative Catholic city. And so we've got all these lady engineers and doctors and psychologists and sociologists here, and they're leading some of the conversation for the change. And so the point of this conversation, and to bring it to your awareness in English and Spanish, obviously, we're at a Spanish-speaking hackathon that's based out of Buenos Aires. But I obviously, as a developer, have a large English-speaking audience, and so I want to bring this to my people's attention and get some of the word out and just find the right partnerships and people. Is that as we were talking about these very serious topics, we need some practical ways to lead change. We are gathering data. So the point of this app for the weekend hackathon, we have a 3-minute pitch. It talks about an AC scanner that we built, which is an AI-powered safety tool that helps people identify signs of digital control or relationship violence, coercive violence in their chats without sending the private conversations to the cloud. So it's an app that we built that they can run on the phone, and they can say, look at what my boyfriend or look at what my partner said to me, and is that appropriate? Is it healthy? Is it safe? Do I need to get a risk plan to get out? Or am I safe enough and just need to de-escalate? And so what I would like to do is bridge the gap between my friends here in South America and my partners in Canada who deal with verbal Aikido and basically verbal jiu-jitsu, de-escalating conflict and logic. We work with the military and the police, the stage speakers, the teacher trainers who are doing language de-escalation and conflict de-escalation through these martial arts techniques applied to language. And so as we're training large language models, this gets really interesting. Our local data set, we're focused here in Ecuador, and she's from the University of Cuenca. She was a systems engineer there. We have focused this app primarily on the University of Cuenca students. So how many people are expected to participate? How many students? ¿Cuántos estudiantes van a participar en este app, más o menos?
I don't know, maybe like 300.
¿Cuántos? 300 usuarios, 300 users maybe will participate in this app, and that can be men or women, gay or straight. There can be a variety of flavors of the rainbow here. So there's about 300 users that will participate in this, and we're gathering data sets where they're talking about partner violence. The thing is that the machista culture is so ingrained in the culture, is that a lot of the violence is just normalized here. There's so many heavy we have one more lady who's joining us. Here's our other friend.
Hola.
Hola. Estamos recordando entonces, no sé si podamos mirar los 4. Muy bien. Pero estamos aquí, los comadres, and so we have about 300 users who are going to participate in this app, and it will gather data from intimate relationships of varying flavors of the rainbow that will support our data set, and that will help to train this model. And so we've basically given them a risk score. I can read you our pitch and tell you what it does, but the problem is that the culture is so ingrained with machista and misogyny and violence that it's been normalized, and there is a lot of negating or gaslighting or just outright denial going on. And so these ladies are helping to spearhead some of the changes for that. So how do we do that? We gather a data set, we look at the root patterns and the common denominators between the sorts of things, and then we begin to educate and change the problem. And so the specific human behaviors that we are addressing and changing is it goes from, the student or the person in the local culture says, well, I know something's wrong with my relationship, but I don't really know what to do about it. I don't have words or language to talk about it. I can't describe it. This app and the process of using it will empower them to say, okay, I now know what the pattern is, I can name it, and I can take positive corrective action to change and empower my life. So in this way, we're bringing the power back to the people in their relationships and educating young men and women and future generations how to respect each other. So there's this cultural shift that's happening. That's why we include words like hacktivists and feminists. We are here doing this work in Cuenca, Ecuador. And so, ¿qué más queremos decir? ¿Quieres introducir? No? Okay. No pressure. She doesn't have to introduce herself. She's a very helpful lady. Very, very helpful. We like her a lot. All right. So, I guess yo voy a leer la pitch. Maybe I'll just read the pitch. How do we feel about that?
I don't know.
Yeah?
Whatever you think is useful.
I think it's helpful to explain what this pitch is. So we're at a hackathon for the weekend, and we have built, here's our 3-minute pitch. It's called Amor ou Control. So love or control. It's called an AC scanner for short. This is an AI-powered safety tool that helps people identify signs of digital control and relationship violence in their chats without sending the private conversation to the cloud. So the problem is simple, but is deeply serious. So today, many people experience control disguised as love. Things like when their partner says, send me your location, give me your password, show me your phone.
It's 6 o'clock.
If you love me, send me a photo, probably an explicit one, or why were you online and not answering me? These behaviors often appear inside everyday conversations, and they might be mixed with affection, jealousy, apologies, love bombing, ghosting, silent treatment, humiliation, threats, and gaslighting. But because of that, many people do not immediately recognize the pattern for what it is, which is violence. And they ask themselves, am I exaggerating or am I crazy? Is this normal? Is this love or is this control, ultimately? Additionally, in queer relationships, there are additional forms of violence that are often ignored by mainstream tools, such as outing, threats to reveal someone's sexuality or gender identity, questioning their orientation and validating who they are, or using fear of exposure as a way to control them, which is obviously a serious problem. So our solution is this AC scanner, the Amor or Control. So the app allows users to create different analyses for different chats or relationships in their life. So for example, you can have multiple chats. One could be my ex, another could be an Instagram chat, another could be a current partner, another could be a situationship. This matters that they can analyze different conversations because one person may need to analyze different conversations without mixing the emotional or safety context. This is important in training large language models, right? Keep the data set separate. So then the user will select their relationship context based on those buckets of heterosexual, queer, LGBTQIA+, or prefer not to say. And the app will detect both general patterns of control and specific forms of queer-related violence, such as outing or sexuality questioning. After that, the user will paste the chat and describe a situation. The system will analyze the text and classify the risk into 7 clear categories, such as digital control, coercive jealousy, threats, psychological violence through abandonment or humiliation, gaslighting, outing, and isolation. The result will be shown through a risk thermometer, so just a color-coded red, green, yellow, orange sort of card. Instead of overwhelming the user with clinical language, the app will explain the result in plain words. What was detected, meaning what type of violence or control was detected, why this matters, and what the safest next step could be. This can help users to predict their relational outcomes and take control of that. So this is data-driven decision-making in real time applied to interpersonal relationships and human psychology and social development and cultural change. And so if the risk is high, because violence in Latin and South America is real, y'all. Like, it's a real problem. It's a real problem. So if the risk is high, then the app will activate Código Violeta, which is purple, violet. It's a safety mode that offers immediate support. Things like grounding, a safe message, a trusted contact, a basic safety plan, and a reminder not to confront the aggressor if there's danger. The key technology difference here is privacy. And how we built that is the AC scanner uses QVAC, as the local AI inference layer. This means that the analyses run on the user's device locally, not in the cloud. There's no cloud APIs, no external servers, there's no uploading intimate chats or pictures. This is crucial because these conversations may include sexual content, threats, personal data, family information, or details that could put the user at greater risk if exposed. You do not want to be uploading this stuff into ChatGPT. You guys, you don't want that. You don't want to put this into Grok. You don't want to put this into Google Gemini. You don't want to put your personal, intimate partner violence relationship into ChatGPT. Like, we don't want to do that. So we run this locally on the phone. And that's why we use QVAC as a local AI inference layer. We're not building an app that diagnoses people. We're not replacing therapy. We're not replacing legal support or emergency services. But we are building a first step, and this is the important social change. A private, local, accessible tool that is helping someone to move from, I think something is wrong, but I really can't define it, to I can name the pattern, understand the risk, and calculate and take a safer next step. That changes relational outcomes in a really big and significant way. So again, we're in a conservative, mostly Catholic city, so with a lot of machista and misogyny here. So in 18 hours, our MVP demonstrates the core value: local AI analysis of sensitive chats, relationship context selection, queer-specific violence detection, a risk thermometer, and Código Violeta. Our vision is clear. Technology should not ask survivors to expose themselves in order to receive help. And with this app, Amora Control, the chat stays on the device and the clarity stays with the user. So that's how we are empowering people to take control of their relationships. And so that's what we built at this hackathon today. And we're working here on our pitch video. This is our little podcast for the serious chat to kind of practice and tell the world, tell our English-speaking friends. And so, I don't know what else you want to say. I invite you guys to connect with us or ask questions, to participate in or invest in our projects, get involved somehow. I'm sure there's many other partners that could be involved in such a thing. We're not the only people working on this type of stuff, but we are specifically here in Cuenca, Ecuador. ¿Qué más queremos hacer?
Please join us if you like our idea or you have advice for us, or maybe you are curious about how this topic is, how we work around this topic here in Latam. Just subscribe.
Yeah, do all the like, subscribe,
touch with
bell
her
thing.
and her touch with us.
Yeah, get in touch with us. Do we have handles or things that we want to share?
Not
that organized yet?
No.
Do we have handles like un nombre, un usuario, nombre que quieres compartir con internet, por ellos pueden te contactar?
En TikTok.
Yeah, in TikTok. So she's really up on TikTok. ¿Cómo escribe tu nombre en TikTok?
Eva Karina PC.
Eva Karina PC. So we'll put that on the screen. I'll add a little handle for her, and I will link it in the description below. You're welcome to reach out. And you can find her videos on TikTok, and we'll link to the other stuff here at the hackathon. What else? ¿Qué más?
This place is very great. She's running this also.
Thanks to this lady.
Place where we are here enjoying the hackathon, try to build something good, something also, and obviously the links will be maybe here or here or here
somewhere
or
in the
thing.
So
Follow us.
Yeah, this is an impromptu, unscripted improv recording of the podcast, but this is all of us ladies together, and we are the comadres.
Yeah, Team Comadres.
Team Comadres. Which, if you don't know Spanish, madre means mother. We are co-mothers here. We're co-madres. Leading generations in respectful cultural change. So that's what we're talking about. Because a lot of people who speak English don't know that. Like, it's honestly, ellos no saben nada. Entonces, yes, necesitamos cruzar la frontera de communication. We need to bridge the communication gaps and just simply introduce this to our audiences. Yeah. So thank you for the Hackathon Aleph for bringing us together today. And
see you soon.
See you soon.
More news.
Peace.
Total? Peace?
That's it.
That's it. All right. Call us. Bye.
We were together, loved you at your worst, but that didn't matter. It took
Hi everyone, we are building a motor control or AC scanner, an AI-powered app as a safety tool that helps people to identify violence and digital violence on their chats. These apps not record anything outside in the app. This is without sending the private conversation to the cops.
The problem is simple, but deeply serious. Today, many people experience control disguised as love. Send me your location, give me your password, show me your phone. If you love me, send me a photo. Why were you online and not answering me? These behaviors often appear inside everyday conversation, mixed with affection, jealousy, apologize, love bombing, ghosting, silence treatment, humiliation treats, and gaslight. Because of that, many people do not immediately recognize that pattern. They ask themselves, is this normal? Is this love or is this control? And in queer relationships, there are additional forms of violence that are often ignored by mainstream tools, outing treats to reveal someone's sexuality or gender identity, questioning their orientations, invalidating who they are, or using fear of exposure as a way to control them.
Our solution is the AC Scanner. This app allows users to create different analyses for different chats or relationships. For example, my ex, Instagram chat, current partner, or situationship. This matters because one person may need to analyze different conversations without mixing emotional or safety contexts. Then the user selects their relationship context, heterosexual, queer, LGBTIQ+, or prefer not to say. This allows the app to detect both general patterns of control and specific forms of queer-related violence such as outing or sexuality questioning. After that, the user pastes a chat or describes a situation into the app. The system analyzes the text and classifies the risk into 7 clear categories: digital control, coercive jealousy, threats, psychological violence through abandonment or humiliation, gaslighting, outing, and isolation. The risk is shown through a risk thermometer: the green, yellow, red, or orange result. Instead of overwhelming the user with clinical language, the app explains the result in plain words: what was detected, why it matters, and what the safest next step can be. If the risk is high, the app activates Código Violeta, which is a safety mode that offers immediate support: grounding, a safe message, a trusted contact, a basic safety plan, and a reminder not to confront the aggressor if there's danger. The key technological difference is privacy. AC Scanner uses QVAC as the local AI inference layer. That means the analysis runs on the user's device. No cloud APIs, no external servers, no uploading intimate chats. This is crucial because these conversations may include sexual content, threats, personal data, family information, or details that could put the user at greater risk if exposed. We are not building an app that diagnoses people. We are not replacing therapy, legal support, or emergency services. We are building a first step, a private, local, accessible tool that helps someone move from "I think something is wrong" to "I can name the pattern, understand the risk, and take a safer next step." In 18 hours, our MVP demonstrates the core value: local AI analysis of sensitive chats, relationship context selection, queer-specific violence detection, a risk thermometer, and Código Violeta. Our vision is clear: technology should not ask survivors to expose themselves in order to receive help. With amor o control, the chat stays on the device and clarity stays with the user.